All right, it's time for a Friday Reads. And yeah, this is not my bookshelf. This is my stepdad's bookshelf. So all shelving decisions were his. But I do think it's a stunning background and it has a window next to it. So this is what I am doing last second to try and film my Friday video. Because I have been reading some great things. Not a lot of things, but the quality is high because I've been super busy and we'll talk about that, but I haven't actually finished a book yet, which is weird for how late into the month we are, but I have been loving what I'm reading. So the first one we'll talk about is The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. I have the hardback of it. I don't keep dust jackets on books while I read them, so you'll just have the picture here, but I really like the spine. I don't like the quality of the dust jacket, not that that matters. But Louise Erdrich, if you don't know, is actually one of my favorite non-SFF authors, even though she does actually have a dystopian story that I did like. But the books that I really loved from her was La Rose, which is a sort of contemporary, early historical fiction work in North Dakota. And this one I think is also North Dakota. Chippewa tribe in the 50s following a whole community, but the back of the book's like you follow the night watchman who's fighting Congress to make sure that Native Americans are not emancipated. I think that's the word. Basically, the government's trying to say we don't need to honor these treaties anymore, because of course they are, right? But there's so much more to that. Like, what I think she does so well is her community work. Like, I love reading her communities. That's what captures me. There's not a plot hook. There's not, like, anything. Like, this is probably the oldest historical fiction I've read from her. Like I said, the La Rose was in the 90s, and then the dystopian was near future. So this is more set in its time, but I really like it. So she's one of my favorite historical fiction, contemporary literary fiction authors, and that's still true in this book. I'm about, how far am I in it? I've been using like a weird bookmark. I'm this far. And by weird, I mean a dollar bill, because that's all I could find around. I got the idea from Casera at Casera Reads. So really enjoying this, reading it for book club, but also like legitimately one of my favorite authors. So haven't read a lot, but what I've read has just been so, I don't know, immersive. I just really like her works. And then I reread from Exhalation, I think The Life Cycle of Software Objects, which I loved the first time I read it, and I loved it this time. Both times, it's just the pacing, I could not put it down. This is a story, I mean, the title really says what it is. It's about the life cycle of software objects, but the software objects in this case are AIs that are created for the virtual world for people to interact with and raise. So kind of think more AI Neopets. If you played Neopets, if you're my age, you for sure did. But and you're probably thinking now that your Neopet is dead, and that's very sad. And they are. Yeah. That for sure happened. You abandoned them. And this story is about like the sentience and the consciousness of these AIs and what that means for their agency. What does that mean to parent them? Like that whole thing is very strong there. But also just like, what does it mean to be a living thing in that cycle? Where, I mean, we go through new operating systems every 2 to 4 years, and not every operating system brings over old code. It's really interesting, and I loved it the first time, and I still love it this time. Again, another favorite author. I love Ted Chiang so much. So really glad I just like snuggled up on this chair and read that for a few hours yesterday. And then I'm rereading Hero of Ages, so another favorite author. I think I'm about a fourth or a third of the way through it. And I think the reason why I still love this one, but I like it less than Well of Ascension, is because Well of Ascension has like amazing character arcs in it. Like it's more about character interaction and arcs. And that does still happen in Hero of Ages, but Hero of Ages is more plot driven, I would say. Like it's more, okay, here's the situation, we need to handle it, which makes sense. Like we have to do that. But as I've just grown older, I really love like being in the quiet moments with people, and you still get those in Hero of Ages, but the ones in Well of Ascension are just like top notch. So really enjoying Hero of Ages. I'm excited to see where it all goes again and figure out all the stuff I've forgotten. So those are the things I'm reading, and like I said, I haven't finished anything. I'm not even that far into anything, but I had a crazy weekend, a crazy fun weekend. Like we flew in on Thursday. Friday we went to Cedar Point, which I'll show you maybe a video on the screen. If you've never been to Cedar Point, it is an amusement park that has the best roller coasters that I have ever been to. I mean, basically, if you've been to a Six Flags, which I've also been to, it's like the best coaster at a Six Flag is like the average at Cedar Point. Like Cedar Point has like 7 top coasters in one park. So if you like roller coasters, it's fantastic for that. And it's right on Lake Erie, so it's gorgeous. We spent the whole day doing that. It was a lot of fun, ate a lot of amusement park food, walked like 7 miles. And luckily, I almost always am uncomfortably warm at an amusement park. That's just usually what happens, right? The sun just beats down on you and you die. But it was actually cold and windy, and it was very pleasant. So that was fantastic, but obviously didn't read much. And Saturday had a cookout with some friends, and Sunday was 4th of July. Went to a baseball game, and I went to see the fireworks. It was really fantastic. We didn't win the baseball game, but I don't know, I got a new jersey because that was the gift that they gave. I like eating baseball food, and I love the stadium here in Cleveland. It's one of my favorite baseball stadiums. I like that it sells a lot of local food, and how the seating is meant to be comfortable. And I don't know, I just love all the traditions. I've been going to baseball games in Cleveland since I was a kid. So that was really fun, and then seeing the fireworks on the lake was a really good time too. We got to see actually 2 cities' fireworks because of where we positioned ourselves. And, I only got 2 bug bites from the experience, so I'm calling that a win. But all of those things are really fun, but obviously didn't lend itself to a lot of reading time. And on top of that, when I have been home, we've been playing board games, which I predicted would happen and has been fantastic. So we played Targi, which is a 2-player worker placement game that I really love. So I had the expansion. I haven't gotten to try out the expansion yet, so my mom and I played it a few times. So that's been a really great game. It's just I don't know, it's just the word is tableau building, which is where you collect cards for points in front of you, but worker placement because you're trying to get certain actions and you're competing for action spots. So that was really fun. But the game that I went to go find, because it's a Target exclusive, was the new Terraforming Mars card game. Terraforming Mars is a really, really popular board game for people who are playing board games as a hobby, and we love that game. But we also mostly love the card part of that game. It's a card game where you also play with a map in the original, and this one's just the cards. And it's been fantastic, even though I have yet to figure out how to beat my mom. She is very good at that game. So hopefully maybe tonight, although we have a new Viking game I want to read the rules for and maybe play later, because my friend's coming over tonight, and we're going to play board games, and it's going to be great. Because, I don't know, a lot of my friends in Cleveland don't love board games as much as my folks and I do, so it's nice to have the one friend who does want to join in. So those are all the things that have been preventing me from reading, but it's okay. Because honestly, when I do get to sit down for an hour or so to read, I am loving what I'm reading. I really, really love the words in this. I'm also just in the perfect headspace for it, and I'm not in a rush. That's another good thing about this month. If I only read 6 to 7 books, that's fine. I'm not too concerned about it. And I am going to start, though, whether I finish anything or not. I'm starting She Who Became the Sun this weekend, because Abby Salter and I are going to buddy read that. It'll be our first buddy read, and it's a new release that I am really interested in trying out. Just curious to see what my thoughts will be. I'm hoping I'm going in with the appropriate expectations, because that's always best for a book. But, new releases this summer, I've just been hitting it out of the park, so I'm just really hoping it's another solid one for me. A little nervous because it's I think more tactical military fantasy, but I don't know, I've been having more fun with that lately, so maybe my tastes have just been changing. So those are all the things I've done. Oh, I've also filmed a podcast with Bethany and Leanna, and I'll have both their channels linked down below and the podcast YouTube channel. It won't be up till later this month, but that was really fun too. We talked about favorite authors and I don't know what makes someone a favorite author, and basically just gushing about fantasy books we love. It was a fun time. So keep your eye out for that. And if you didn't know, Leanna and I also did a Way of Kings episode on that already. That is up, where I am pro Way of Kings and Leanna is against, sort of thing. Not really, but more trying to help a consumer of fantasy figure out if it's the right fantasy series for them. But that's it for this one. If you want to leave an emoji, I don't know, leave a moon, because Night Watchman in a moon, maybe. Yeah, we'll go with that. And let me know what you've been doing this July. Any fun plans, or are you reading any fantastic things? Are you playing any games? I want to hear all the things. And if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.